And we are live. Welcome to the third episode of Hot Take Express with Kent Chamberlain. I'm your host, Kent Chamberlain, and today, I've got some tea to spill. The episode title is Yankee Tankie is too intellectually unburdened to be as Machiavellian as he aspires to be. Anyone who is familiar with Mr. Shantz at all is probably aware of this already, but I've got just an interesting little experience to tell, and I think it's worth telling. First off, it's funny, and it's just interesting. Gives you a broader idea of, like, I guess it's fair to say the movement, and the crap that goes on behind the scenes sometimes. So anyway, Yankers sure did try to pull the old fast one on me this weekend, and it didn't work. The gist of it, I'm not going to get into, like, all the details, but, like, there was a chat between several orgs, and I was invited to this chat to represent the Tobar Collective. And then, like, basically, I don't know, anyone that knows me knows I'm a very direct person. I went to the chat and I stated my purposes, you know? And maybe that was too direct for, and that's something I've noticed. And I have never, for the life of me, figured out why, but, like, shitlibs hate people being direct. They want subtlety. They want you to dance around the issue, like, it's not okay to just say, this is what I think and why, and, like, getting to the point is not okay to these people. They like, they don't like that. Just part of general liberal manipulative nonsense in any case. But yeah, like, so I stated my business and, like, my positions, and the gist of it was, I was like, no, I don't need to go into it. But he thought he represents, actually, no, I do need to go into it. Basically, I was just saying, like, well, all these different orgs are talking together to see how we can coordinate and work together in the future, right? And it's not just orgs, some of it's just, like, individual people. But, like, Yankee Tankie was chosen to be the guy that hosts the Zoom call, and this was an oversight. He is not intellectually mature enough to, like, grab the phone from a toddler when they hand you their little plastic phone, let alone host a Zoom call. Like, so he pulled me aside and he basically was just like, hey, look, it's really important that we all be able to compromise and stuff. And, like, because if this doesn't work out, and I swear to God he said this, if this doesn't work out, I'm going to... Actually, I shouldn't... I'm making him sound like he doesn't. If this doesn't work out, I'm going to go be a Silverback and, join Haas's channel and work with Infrared. Okay, I mean, like, I feel for Haas if you do that, bro. I didn't say that. What I said was, okay, I will try to actively think of ways to compromise, because, like, I kind of feel the same, like, half tempted to just register Republican and be done with it, like, if this doesn't work out. But anyway, so you just, I mean, I'm already a Republican, what are we talking about? But, like, he didn't know that. And I'm just trying to match his energies, because, like, you know, he's trying to make subtle threats for some reason I didn't quite cotton on to yet. But one of the things I stated is that I believed in effective anti-imperialism, and that, like, land back lines would hurt our outreach to the locals, which is true because, I mean, Elko County is ruby red, and Trump came and spoke here when he was president. It's one of the Trumpiest places in the country, and I say that with all the love and respect I have to Mustard. I love these people. I chose to make my life among them, you know? So you're not going to get very far with them being like, we need to tear apart America. And I didn't know this, but I guess Joey Shantz is fallen into with this group of people called revolutionary nationalists. And I guess land back is a form of this, but then there's like, and these people claim to be communists. I swear to baby Jesus. But like, I had a conversation with one that thought the South should be a country, but he wasn't a Confederate. No neo-Confederatism there, and just thought that the South was its own nation and deserved to be its own country, and, you know, split America apart for that. Yeah, sure, what the hell. Fucking bastards. But, like, this is a thing, and sure enough, it's been happening around Dust James, and Yankee Tankie has been, like, tagging along, and all these Revnats are his friends, and it's like, they're clearly trying to take the whole patriotic socialism energy, right? Like, you know, the patriotic, instead of patriotism, it's nationalism. Instead of socialism, it's revolutionary. But it's like, the fascists always try to steal the communists' clothes. And am I comfortable going that far? I don't think Dust James is, like, consciously a fascist, but I think he's imbibed a lot of middle-class aesthetics, lifestyle, attitudes, and I can't speak to his class interests. I know he says he's a trucker. He certainly does wear a cowboy hat in those pictures. But anyone can buy a cowboy hat. But, like, but fascism is just what the middle class does when it's both capitalist and obeys the will to power. And land back is capitalist for reasons I'm going to explain in the next chat, or in the next video. And so what I think happened, but yeah, like, so this revolutionary nationalism, which, by the way, the term has been used by, like, Uncle Ho during Vietnam's struggle for independence, and it was legitimate in that context. These guys are stumbling upon that coinkydink, I think, to create their own little strand of patriotic socialism that is actually not patriotic socialism at all, because it renounces the concept of America. At the very least, it engages in the land backaroo light position that Lenin did, in saying that these different the ethnicities have the right to their own state, so they ought to have their own ethno-states, and that these ethno-states ought to have a right to secede from the Union, which runs counter to our own historical experience, our own constitutional law, And hell, it runs counter to Russia's lived experience because they're having to deal with the crap this caused over there right now. But so anyway, that's what I guess I had to make that detour to explain what RevNat is and why it's, even though it sounds identical to patsock, it's completely different. Well, National Socialism sounds like it could be a form of communism, but it's actually, literally fascist. It's the same thing. The fascists always steal our clothes. Patsock's popular, so let's try RevNat, and except make it stand for horrible things. But anyway, so seeing that I was not going to stand for this land back root noise, I guess Joey started trying to figure out ways to, get me out of this chat before it started. And then, so he talked with some dude, and I'm not going to name the dude, because dude did nothing. He was pulled into this crap because Yankers just couldn't behave himself. But yeah, what ended up happening is that about a couple hours before the chat was supposed to start, Yankers pulls me aside and is like, hey, someone told me that, you were a grifter from Occupy. Can you explain this? I was like, yeah, I can explain this. I've never been to Occupy in my life. I was working as a cook in Nebraska. He's like, whoa, you're getting real defensive. I'm real suspicious now there, buddy. And I'm like, I was just, even then I was like, you're doing this on purpose. You planned this. You want me out of the chat. This isn't, I've never been, what I said is true. I was working as a cook in the nursing home in Nebraska during Occupy. I didn't go to Occupy, and my coworker at the time is my best friend in real life, and he can vouch for everything I'm saying. If anyone really needs to know, I was never at Occupy, and I can prove it. So basically everything Joey was saying about me was wrong. So then I go into this chat, and so anyway, he asked me not to attend the Zoom call, and he was like, and if you try, I'm not going to let you in the meeting. I'm like, okay, then this is actually escalated to be a problem. So I went to the chat where we were all, planning the Zoom call. I went to the chat where, these two had been talking the night before, Joey and the guy telling him. And the thing is, he wasn't even telling him it was me. He was talking about someone else that was probably a grifter at Wall Street, for all I know. But, Joey was just jumping on that because, okay, now I got an excuse. Because I don't think he thought I would call him on this, right? But yeah, I went full Karen on these chats. I was just not having this. And this is what you gotta do with manipulative people, right? You got to just, stand your ground. You gotta just be no, hey, I'm being slandered right now, and Joey is saying I'm not going to have the right to get in the chat. And, it annoyed some people, who are starting to get annoyed, but, I don't care. We all hate Karens because that shit works. I mean, gotta respect game where it exists, and this wasn't just some personal beef. This is the kind of crap that the Trots would pull back in the days of Stalin, right? They would have try to organize these, to have whatever advantage they could in the inside baseball of meeting structure, and they would try to lawyer the rules to get their way on stuff. And they would just be annoying like that. And Stalin gained in power because he was willing to do whatever it took to stop them, basically. And because the people hated that noise. The Soviet people hated that noise. They were using that power to just abuse the people, essentially. I mean, some of the old Bolsheviks were terrible people. I mean, worse than the capitalists, treated the workers like slaves. And a lot of times when you see like anti-communist propaganda from like the Cold War period, they'll be talking about like stuff that happened during this era, which was legit bad, because Trotsky was and I don't want to say running the show, but he was a major voice in government. And yeah, the Trots do suck. Unnamed iced tea beverage. Oh, I love me iced tea. I could talk about that sometime, but not now. But yeah, like, so I just went full Karen in the chat. There were some people who were kind of liberal and were just like, you know, how dare I disrupt this sacred messenger chat with my problems, you know, like communism isn't about solving people's problems. And like, I wasn't, and it's not just like it was personal beef. Again, I was like, this is politics, because he's trying to keep an org out of like organizing with other orgs, and you know, to push his RevNat ideology. And you know, so it matters. It's not, you know, maybe the people brushing me off were also RevNats. That's a thought I hadn't considered. And this was just a way to sort of like defend Joey's action. But anyway. But yeah, like, the Karen shit works. Alright, because it worked at this time. Because I just bitched loud enough and just reiterated my same points, kept on topic, you know, just like, you know, pointed out that there was no basis for calling me defensive, that I had refuted his charges, and then he was like, and then, like, by the time, and we were all, like, waiting on the guy that, like, Joey had supposedly heard from, that, like, I was, you know, a problematic grifter or whatever. And that guy showed up and was like, no, I was talking about someone else. And I was like, thanks, bro. And then Joey, yeah, he gave me the most half-assed, hand-in-the-cookie-jar apology I've got in a while over the misunderstanding. And this guy was like, you know, like, deigning to investigate me as a security problem. Like, and understand, this isn't, he wasn't in, like, the leadership of anything here, okay? Like, this is just a bunch of people talking about, like, maybe do we want to organize something together? Like, and Joey is going nuts like this because I can't stand land back, and I'm vocal about it. So yeah, he ended up quitting as the host of the chat right after the misunderstanding. And yeah, if he'd followed those plans he told me, he's currently trying to be a Silverback, and good luck reforming him, Haas. Really, you just have all the fun with that, bro. Thank you, God bless, Godspeed, I'm sorry. But, like, make a real communist out of him. If he's actually gonna go be a Silverback, and it's funny because he, like, started out trashing you, and that's when I started having beef with him, but, like, if he's a Silverback now, that's, maybe he's learned. Or at least maybe he's finally discovered what praxis is and isn't. Because, but yeah, like, if he's sincere, and I think he is, I think dude's got some real mental issues, and like, the RevNats were willing to have him, so he was willing to parrot, like, their line and do dirty shit for them, and whatever, but I think he just deep down wants acceptance, and, acts out in the most cringy of ways, but, like, if there's some, like, good-ass comrades that can give him that acceptance he so clearly needs, and maybe help him chill out a bit, and teach him theory and praxis, you know, that'd be the best thing. I don't want to destroy my enemies. I want to reform them. Stalin felt the same way. That's why there were gulags and not just, like, people lined up against a wall. The idea was to liquidate the class, not the person. Let the person become a different class, become working class. You know, just beat the bourgeois devil out of them with, honest proletarian labor in Siberia or in building a canal or something. Yeah. So, anyway, yeah, I want to see the reform of my enemies into, rather than their destruction. So, yeah, I'd like to see, Joey get better. I don't glory in anyone's destruction. And so, yes, if he can become a real comrade, that'd be good. The only vengeance I'm claiming out of all this is using this noise for content, so people learn to get loud when people are getting manipulative around them. Because, here's the thing. Okay, even to this day, long after it stopped mattering to their politics, the Russians have a phrase, lying like fucking Trotsky. Because he was just famous for it. The bullshit he would pull. And, the manipulative shit he would try to play and then get, caught out by Stalin. It's legendary over there to this day. So, this is how you stop manipulative people in their tracks. It's just sunshine. Sunshine's the best disinfectant. Get loud, talk about it, be a Karen. Thing is, if communist orgs live up to their ideals, they should care when someone's being manipulative around them. And I mean, I offered my thoughts about Caleb Maupin, but he would be an example, at least if the accusations are true, of what manipulation can do to an org. And I mean, as far as it goes, like I said, the CPI and even in its heyday was leaking drama. Manipulation breeds drama and conflict where there doesn't need to be any. So manipulative people need to be get wrecked by any org that wants to endure for a while. Because if they want to just be a flash in the pan and be gone in 6 months, letting manipulative people run riot is definitely the way to go. Way to get that done. Because they will drive it into the ground. They will make it all about them, and no one cares. We're in the game for anti-imperialism, not for a cult of personality, as the Yankee Tankie says. But yeah, anyway, the whole process took about an hour, or roughly as long as it took Haas to wreck him publicly when he was coming on there to be Mecca Tankie, which I guess he is now. Oh my god, I called that, okay? I told you in my very first stream that you can change the name from Patsock to Mecca Tankie, but you cannot get the cringe out by doing that. And there you go. Joey Shantz is a Mecca Tankie. But yeah, it took about as long for me to wreck Yankers as it took Haas, so that was cool. But yeah, the whole problem with this crap is, with what he did is, he's just too intellectually unburdened to be as Machiavellian as he aspires to be. His dirty politics were so transparent and so easily foiled by my ruining everyone's morning until justice might be too strong of a word, but I can't think of a better term. Yeah, justice. No justice, no peace. No justice, no peace until I got my justice, until I got a retraction for the slander that my morning was started off with on Friday. But yeah, even Trotsky could have done this crap with more aplomb. I mean, Trotsky was very smart. At least you have to give him that. Very well-educated man. Very clever man. Just you can be very smart, very well educated, and very clever and still suck. So, like, don't think that those things are a guarantee of anything. But, like, Trotsky got pretty far doing this stuff because he had those things. Yankee Tankie does not have the skill set necessary to even be Trotsky, okay? And unless you are, like, that clever, you shouldn't even try that stuff. Because here's the thing. The people that do this stuff, this manipulative stuff, naturally, they're usually like, I want to say borderline personality disorder or narcissist personality disorder. Like, there's a couple where they're just really intentionally manipulative people. And the thing is, especially with a narcissist, like, because a narcissist cannot accept the blow to the ego that is being wrong about something, they can't learn. And so, like, the danger of being a manipulative person is that you cannot learn, and then you end up being very plainly, obviously stupid in front of everybody. And everyone's just sort of laughing at you, internally or not, and because you don't know shit, because your ego can't handle the process of learning, because you already know everything. And that's how God punishes manipulative people, in a sense, or karma, or however you want to think about it. Like, to be truly good at manipulating people, you have to be willing to, like, compartmentalize your mind, almost. Like, no, okay, I'm saying this, but I know it's wrong, and I'm actually learning this other thing, and like, I'm taking, but you can't do that. Like, the brain isn't not like Hillary Clinton. The human brain cannot have a public position and a private position. Stanford prison experiment. Like, the brain longs to be whole, you know? So if you say something in public, you will eventually believe it in private. I need more tea. So, like, even manipulative people end up usually just manipulating themselves in the end. And you can totally do this. Like, there are, like, liberal-ass self-help books from the 80s and 90s when I was a kid that are, like, telling you how you can brainwash yourself into success and all this crap. I mean, you can certainly brainwash yourself into believing certain things. I think that's true. Whether those things lead to success is debatable. Usually, I think success requires hard work and a skill set, which, if you think you're going to be able to just brainwash yourself into success, you probably do not have a hard work or a skill set applicable to becoming a success in life. So I don't know if that worked for anyone but the self-help authors. But yeah, like, manipulation is just not good. It drives people away from you, and you gotta be direct and honest with people to make comrades. And so, like, and a lot of the people that I persuaded in these groups were Revnats or land back supporters, and they were won over by me being direct and honest and annoying. So I won the crowd, and he didn't, and he took off. And yeah, like, so the code of the story, the multi-org chat went off fine. The whole thing was just us getting to know each other, establishing bona fides. I met polite landback people. They're still wrong, but they were polite about it. And as far as it goes, like, I'm gonna go in this more in the next video, but, like, minority communities are our fellow Americans, and I demand their civil and economic rights too, and especially because they especially are denied them. And I think that is utterly fair to say, as a patriotic American, that, you know, I want them to do better, much better than they're currently doing, and I think the imperialist deep state is keeping them down, and that is part of their treason against this great country. Just like any other working class community, these minorities communities deserve the means of production, and I think that is the best formula. Like, if we just demand the workers own the means of production, that doesn't divide anyone based on race. It doesn't imply guilt for anyone but the bourgeoisie, and fuck them. They're gonna go camping anyway. So like, the only people that owe anyone reparations are the bourgeoisie. And frankly, I don't support reparations in as much as that goes, because let's be real. It's going to be like some welfare state cash payment that is going to mostly go straight back to the corporations. People are going to buy Taco Bell with it, not the means of production. I mean, some people will be smart. And it's not because, like, of racial stereotypes of anything. It's just the human nature. If I give me $1,000 and I'm going to go have more Taco Bell, or actually there's not a Taco Bell close by, Burger King or McDonald's or some crap, I'm going to... 1 second. Get out of there! Sorry, I've got a cat, and she likes to crawl around in my potatoes. Anyhow. But usually when I tell her what's up in a authoritarian enough tone, she listens. So she's a good girl on balance. I love her. Where were we? Yeah, okay, so like, I get why people are talking about that, but like, honestly, if we're just like making sure everyone gets like cones, this means of production, and that like they all have roughly the same standard of living, isn't mission accomplished, right? Like, that should get at that. Like, that establishes equity in our society, and that's the point. So, however, the chat did wake me up to one important reality. Patriotic socialism needs its own organization in this new era. We have to organize ourselves internally so that, and then we can have an effective relationship with other groups, even perhaps pro-land back groups one day. Who knows? But I'm not going to say too much about it, but there are definitely efforts ongoing behind the scenes to make this happen. And just stay tuned for updates, because they will be forthcoming. Once we have our own organization, we will see where and how we can work together with like-minded orgs. And I will say definitely that whatever this new patsock org is, Tobar is going to be working with it. We're going to host retreats and conferences here. We're going to invite comrades here to do local outreach. We've got like huge homeless community in Elko, about an hour and a half away by car, and yeah, I'd like to give those people the means, drain the reserve army of labor, all that stuff. But let's see, and I'm gonna go ahead and answer a question before I wrap up this stream. Actually, I'm going to answer two. First off, I have figured out how I'm going to end these streams. I can't wait. And like, yeah, you get to see that tonight. And second off, I haven't gotten asked about it yet, but I know I'm going to get asked. Because even when I'm like in a bar and just, drinking, and talking with random people or whatever, like, or they're talking to me, I get asked about this. I almost get in fights about this, because, like, people think I'm being rude when I'm not, but my eyes, unless I'm deliberately focusing like I sort of am right now, instinctively, because I'm thinking about it, but, like, when I'm just like trying to think of what to say next, like I will often seem to roll my eyes, and that's not intentional. That is not me trying to be rude, or I mean, like, I roll my eyes to be rude, you know, like everyone does, but like usually when I'm rolling my eyes, I'm not doing it on purpose. I'm just trying to think of what to say next. I'm extremely high functioning on the spectrum, so like it's just part of it. Yeah. Anywho, this is how I know it's good. It's making me laugh. Like, even, like, yeah. But now I'm trying to remember how it goes. Yeah, but anyway, yeah, so I wanted to tell you about my encounter with Yankee Tankie, and I wanted to explain a couple of those things. And if you have any other questions, ask, and I will be happy to answer. And now you know, and knowing is half the battle. Hot Take Express!